Welcome to the regular council meeting of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 4:40 p.m. in council chambers and via electronic participation. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on the traditional territory of Algonquin peoples, including Beaver House First Nation and unceded territory of other Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of the Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, and Métis people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. Call to order and a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Janice Granger, seconded by Councillor Lad Chaba. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 be approved and circulated. And finally, that section 15 of the Town of Kirkland Lake's procedural bylaw number 1575 as amended be suspended to allow for a recess to hold a public meeting prior to the commencement of regular business noted in item 4, petitions and delegations.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest. Councillor Dykins.
I, Dolly Dykins, am declaring, I believe, an indirect pecuniary interest on the agenda of the meeting dated February 20th, 2024, an open meeting. Agenda item number 7.2, agenda title, Public-Private Partnership Senior Government Policy Changes. I believe it's indirect as I'm an employee of the body with a pecuniary interest. The nature of my interest is as follows. I am an employee of Northern College.
Thank you. Anything further from the table? None noted. We'll now recess for the public meeting. Thank you. Welcome to the public meeting regarding 2024 water and wastewater rates in council chambers and via Zoom on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 4:43 p.m. Call to order. I hereby call the public meeting of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 to order. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Do any members have declarations to make during this meeting? So noted, none. Thank you. Item number 3, just a reminder, there is no question from council this evening. Council can pose their questions, if anything, if any, before considering the bylaw during the next regular meeting. Item number 3.1, 2024 water and wastewater rates. Lloyd Crawford, Treasurer.
Pull up the seat.
That's fine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to council. I'm just going to give a very quick summary of the report we already gave in the previous council meeting. If you remember, these water rate increases are being driven by our asset management plan and what the consultants recommended that we put aside to deal with our capital requirements, both water and wastewater. Waste is 1.7 and water is 3.5. Well, that's basically the summary of the report that we've already been through. There is one correction, which there'll be a proper discussion about it later, but in the table or the pack in addition under the wastewater rates, you'll see in one of the summary discussion parts about hotels, public buildings, and other rates. There's 68 and 57 indicated as being the rates, but those are incorrect. The proper rates are actually in the tables below it. That in that summary information of those rates are incorrect. The proper rates are a little bit further down, 70, 35, and 58, 29. So, I guess am I answering questions for this part here? All right, that's my presentation then.
Thank you, sir. Item number 4, confirmation of notice. Madam Clerk, how was notice given?
Madam Mayor, notice was given, for the rescheduling of the public meeting was given in accordance with the Town of Kirkland Lakes Notice Bylaw 2247 by publishing said notice on the town's website 14 days in advance as of February 4th, 2024. Supplemental notice was coordinated with the town's various social media streams and within daily local radio broadcasts.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, was there any correspondence received?
Madam Mayor, there was no correspondence received, with regards to this public meeting this evening.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, has anyone registered to provide comments electronically?
Madam Mayor, I confirm there are no registrations to participate electronically this evening.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public here this evening who wish to provide comments on the proposed 2024 water and wastewater rates? If so, please come forward to the podium and clearly state your name and address for the clerk. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My name is Stefan Bernard. My address is 124 Government Road West, Kirkland Lake, just by Kane Tire. So I was looking, the only comments I have is I made a cheat sheet that I can provide to you of what I'm paying, I was paying for 2023 for water rates. And with the report that was marked for the 1.7 and 3.5 for the next 20-25 years. And I was kind of shocked that it would go up about $800 or so for those amount of years. I just want to, for me and my wife, we may be okay in dealing with it over the correspondence of those years, but what I'm concerned is the ones that are on fixed income. And when I was looking at the numbers, I think at around year 15, year 20, and we're actually paying more for the wastewater than we are for the actual water rates. So I was kind of concerned. And then when I did my calculations, because I'm very proactive in paying it every 2 weeks, so that when I get the bill, I owe nothing. And by the time between the water bill and the taxes, the house taxes, I'm going from $83, well, $50 to $83 every 2 weeks to $83 to $210 every 2 weeks, which is kind of concerning for me because it's money, yes, investing it in Kirkland Lake and getting things done, but again, for fixed earners, it may not be as easy for them. And we have a lot of older population in Kirkland Lake, which may be hurting further down the road. So that's my comments, and if you guys want this, I can also provide that to this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Madam Clerk will be able to take that from you.
I made copies soon.
Thank you, sir. I'll make sure to distribute them to the council.
Thank you very much for coming this evening. We do appreciate when the community members care enough to come and speak to us in the public record. So thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Anything further from members of the public? Nothing noted. Item number 7, consideration of proposed bylaws. Madam Clerk, please read the direction stemming from this public meeting.
The direction this evening, that council received the comments and questions received from members of the public, and that the draft bylaw and corresponding schedule as amended, establishing the 2024 water and wastewater rates from the town of Kirkland Lake as presented, be brought forward for 3 readings at the regular council meeting on March 5th, 2024.
Thank you. This is the recommendation moving forward. Item number 8 is adjournment. This concludes the public meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lloyd. Okay, now we're rising from recess to go back to the regular council meeting. Item number 4, petitions and delegations, Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua 2023 highlights. We have Eric Nielsen, Regional Manager of Northeastern Ontario, Thank you, Sarah. Either or.
I like standing.
There we go.
All right, Mayor and Council, thank you very much for having us again. We look forward to the annual presentation, let you know how things went last year and some of the plans for this year. One addition I put to the presentation this year is consideration of the amount of water we're making, and we have to start to think about that as a community, because every drop of water we make it costs us money in chemicals, costs us money in energy. Right, so anything we can do together just to save a drop of water, I think is a wise thing to do. So we can forward. All right, so you know, I always just want to make sure that for who don't who haven't heard me before, we're a total solutions provider. So we have engineering people down in the Toronto office. We look after, Anthony and the gang look after most of the capital delivery that we do. If we can't do it, we have vendors of record that we can reach out to do. Energy management, and we know in the past that so a lot of the jobs we did when we changed our high lists and whatnot, we were able to save you know, actual payback to the municipality plus the energy we saved in doing the job. We train our own operators, and we also are moving into more and more distribution services as well, especially in the south and the far north. And we're working that way in the region. We want to do when it comes to, and the majority of northern municipalities, when we think of where the deficit is, it's under our feet, right? So we have to start to look that way in the distribution and collection services. We can move on. Okay, so now, you know, every year I come here and talk, we end up bumping it up. We have 18 employees now starting their day in the Curtin Lake gang. It is our central location for our Neo region. We have you know, both Anthony's gang getting going in his cluster, plus we have the regional compliance office here in town as well. You know, a lot of our, I think, oh God, I must be up around 30 vehicles now. I've purchased in town. You know, we get our gas, we get our parts, all this kind of stuff. We're part of the college advisory program, so we're a pretty strong member of the community when it comes to lots of work being done. I like to put this one up, and so just to show how we work together. You've all seen this slide, you know, probably since 2015, and I apologize if it's a repeat, but it's important to know that we're in this together, right? You own it, we run it. You want to seek costs, we try our best to help you seek you know, reduction in costs, right? You have to invest in the infrastructure, we manage the infrastructure. You have to prove compliance with the regulators, and we provide training and systems and people to ensure that we do that. Okay. All right, so I always thought, every time I talk, I always prioritize safety, and then I prioritize compliance, and then I talk about the rest of the stuff. We had no lost time accidents in 2023. Anthony and the gang have a strong safety program going on. We did have 2 first aids. One of the operators got a bit of poop in the eye, and so we had to look after that. And then our mechanic was welding, and so he was properly covered. It's just some metal got on his lip. We had no near misses. We do monthly safety meetings. We do plant inspections throughout the whole time to make sure that we don't see any safety issues. Non-routine hazardous tasks, tailgate meetings. Before we do any job, it's going to, you know, vary from the norm. We sit down, we discuss the job, we make the plan, and then we do it safely, right? Do it properly once is our idea. We've also established in the last couple of years what we call the Don't Walk By program. Okay, so it's along the lines of, you know, in mining we've heard do an active safety, right? According to Neil Lloyd. So it's the same thing. If we see something that's unsafe, look after it right away. Tell the gang about it the next day, because what that does is it plants a little seed of safety. And then other employees are going to start to think the same way. So it's been working. And it, you know, it adds to the very top line where we had no lost time accidents. Okay, we can move. All right, so then we have to talk about compliance. Our 23 inspection, we got a little bit lower, is 91.23%. Okay, and the reason for that, we had a failed chlorine analyzer. It didn't call out an alarm. Okay, the plant continued to make perfect water and everything else, but we didn't get that alarm. So when the ministry sees the name chlorine on there, they hit us 3 times at about 3% each, hence the 91%, okay? And we had one AWQI this year in June. It was a low chlorine residual while the town crews were flushing. They had a hard time getting a residual they were happy with, and they continued to flush until they got it. Okay, good. And the wastewater treatment plant, the last inspection we had was actually 2019. And so there's issues noted with bypasses of the filters. Since then, we've reduced the amount of bypasses we do in the filters. And a lot of that had to do with work. We were working on the filters, we were working on the clarifier. And so, you know, when we got these heavy spring melts and heavy rains, it was tough for us to keep every section of the plant running. So just keep in mind, never do we bypass the entire wastewater treatment plant. We may have to bypass the filters sometimes if it's just too much for them, right? But that's about it. Usually, and the reason we had to bypass filters here, we had one down.
Yeah, it's
right?
a partial bypass.
It's a partial bypass. Yeah, so we're still treating, right? We just missed that one little section of it sometimes, and it's been a long time since we've had. Okay, good. Okay, drinking water quality management standard. We did an internal audit in August of this year. We had 2 opportunities for improvement. We wanted to, oh, I apologize. We had to do, we added a water main commissioning form that we shared with the town employees. We're going to work with that. And we added a water hauling company to our critical list of vendors, right? So just in case our worst nightmare ever happened, and we didn't have a drop of water in Curtin Lake to drink, we've established a relationship with a hauler who can come and provide water. Third-party audit this is the SAI Global. They came in March. Absolutely no findings they found. Okay. Capital improvements. So water, the big thing we did this year, we did a few actuators and valves. These are the automatic actuators. So when a section of the plant calls for water, it'll open automatically and adjust and all this kind of thing. We've been doing that throughout. Every year we do more chemical pumps and panels and whatnot, right? They're the heart of the plant, so we have to do that. Sorry, Anthony, I'm gonna keep going. If I miss something, you let me know. Okay. And new chlorine analyzer Anthony bought. We service our chlorine dioxide system, which of course we all know is making sure our water isn't brown all winter long. The big one is we rebuilt filter number 3. Anthony got it up and running a few weeks ago. It's running like a charm. I wanted to speak to that because our filters are slowly disintegrating. Okay, there's 4 of them. We've been mentioning to directors since about 2014. And so we couldn't rebuild them anymore. There was nothing we could do. We had to do total rebuilds. And even during this rebuild, we lost another one. So right now we have 2 old filters running and a brand new one that was built. But we have one that's dismantled and ready to rebuild as well. Yeah. Okay, they've disintegrated.
Yeah, we've stripped everything out of that filter. It's filter number 2. Yeah. We've taken that out, drains out. They're ready for the vendor to come in and install a new under drain.
Mm-hmm. So once these are rebuilt, the plan is hopefully none of us in this room will be discussing filter rebuilds in the next little while. They're estimating about 25 years worth of life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we have 4 filters in total, so we're hoping to bang one off per year.
That's okay. Okay, and the wastewater. Okay, UV lights and ballasts are started. Don't forget the plant. We think it's brand new. It's a 2014 model, right? So we're 10 years old, so we had to work on the UV a bit. Paul St. Cyr, mechanic, he rebuilt the North Clarifier rake. It was due for a fix. We did a little bit of security systems, some SCADA upgrades. We commissioned our Swastika project, right? So now everything that's done in Swastika coming into town, and we're doing it here in town. So fantastic. That project went really well. We came in just a tad over budget, but it was a good project. When we can get things done on time and almost on budget, boy, that's a happy project. We repaired a drum screen, and then in the picture, the filter. So again, Anthony's team, they rebuilt an entire filter. Filter number 420, we call it, and I'm not sure if the other one's due for.
It is due, yeah, we're hoping to get that done this year.
Okay, so that was a big job, and that was, again, a reason for that we had sometimes a partial bypass. We're always doing pump maintenance. Another big job that they did is new bar screen and lift auger. Okay, down at the very front end of the plant, with everything that's coming in and everything that's coming in full of sticks and logs and God knows whatever people flush down their toilet, it's got to do the initial trap. And so it was due for a repair. The original system was 1972 model, so it was due to be upgraded. And I think it's complete now.
It's fully installed and very close to ready to go. We need to run wire to it, electrical and instrumentation, and then we're going to be up and running. And the reason why that's important is that it protects our pumps from wearing.
So lots of work done last year. We did 804 just work orders last year. So our CMMS, right, our work order system pumps out work orders, whether it's preventative maintenance or whether it's corrective maintenance or whether it's capital maintenance, 804 of them. So, when you think about it, every day we were at work, there's 4 or 5 work orders being done to protect your equipment, all automated, all right. So what we do is we set up that system, we barcode every part that you own, every shoelace, you name it, and then it comes up, and then according to the manufacturer's design, right, that's how we address if it needs some grease or it needs adjusting or whatever it may have. Okay. This is a new one. So we haven't spoken to the CLI, Consolidated Linear Infrastructure. So now what they're doing, the ministry has decided that they will tie in the whole infrastructure of our wastewater and stormwater system. Okay, so this came out in 22. And then, so we spoke to the town officials about it. And then throughout last year, we started to move some things. So there's one called 601, which is the sewage, 701, which is the stormwater. And so there's things that are due this year. The big thing that's due this year actually is the annual report, where we have to throw in all the information that happened in all of the lift stations, right? Thank God we have all that information, because our compliance team, right, we know if the lift station behaved badly, and we know what it did during the year, and we have all that information. It's just a matter of putting it into a proper report that the ministry is going to be happy with. Okay, so we're ready to do that. And so that's step one. And there's a couple other steps coming up. We have to do significant drinking water threat analysis. Okay, and if it's town officials wish, we can help with that. We're helping the majority of the municipalities that I run in Neil, we're helping them with it. It's just easier. We have to do manuals for each and every one of our lift stations, which we have, but we have to bring them up to a better life. Public signage, wet weather flow assessment. So we have some work ahead of us still within this. The good news about this is it should make, yeah, you can flip over. It should make infrastructure work easier for you. Okay, so you don't have to go through so many loops and everything else every time you decide to take on a project, because the ministry has this information in the back pocket from the reports. Okay, so the idea that the ministry had is it's going to make your life easier. Okay. All right, so we know Canada uses between 300 and 500 liters per person per day. Okay. Now, that's even twice as much as our friends in Europe use, right? And we know there's authorized consumption. We know that we have firefighting and we have to flush our hydrants, street cleaning, water municipal gardens. We have a splash park, fantastic. All these good things. We have a pool, right? All these things cost water, right? But we can't say, oh, we're going to shut that off because we want to save a couple. These are things that we know are running, right? But if we go to the next slide, right, then we have unauthorized use, right? What about our leaks that are happening? What about our bleeders that are running all the time? Small breaks that we don't really address. So these are non-recoverable losses, right? Like I said earlier, every time I make a drop of water, I had to throw some chemical at it, and I had to have the energy to pump it throughout the system. All right, so we have to think about a leak reduction strategy. You know what I mean? We have to find out where all that water is going, because in the next slide we'll see that we are using 1,154 liters per person per day. It's high. It's high in Curtin Lake, so I think it's something that should be looked at. One idea is a metering program. Okay, so metering in all the residents. What this will do is it will make people a little more careful about twisting that tap and walking down the hallway to grab their toothbrush or do whatever, right? It makes people a little more careful. It should extend the life of our plant because it should run a little easier, right? It should reduce the amount of water that reports down to the wastewater plant that we have to treat again. Right, so all these things, every time we save a drop, we save it not only in the water plant, but we save it again in the wastewater plant. Okay, so we should save our chemicals, should save some energy making that water. Okay, now, there's good news, right? In 2014, we averaged 10,300 cubes per day, right? And I know that the gang's been running around looking at some of our leaks already, so we're down to 8,900. So we're getting there, right? There's 1,000 per day. There's 300,000 liters that we saved, right? Or cubic meters we saved. So that's fairly good. We're down to about 39–40% of rated capacity, right? Don't forget, we're still high, and there's still some work ahead of us. One thing that Anthony's been talking with the officials about over the last little while is how many bleeders? 36 bleeders, Anthony?
Yeah, 36, 37 bleeders, yeah.
All right, so the idea behind the bleeders, it's not something that we have, right? There's a couple of reasons. Number one, we want to prevent some freezing in some of the mains. Some of the mains in town aren't deep enough, but we can guarantee they're not going to freeze. So we got to run a bleeder, make sure the water's going to move. Some of you may remember in the old days, we had those aqua flows. It was actually going into a house and back out, right? Now, we identified back when I was working for the town, I said, geez, that's a little dangerous, right? I don't want water coming in that's open and it's gonna zoom right back into the lines. My heart started to beat on those, so we got scared. But then there's, we think about chlorine residuals, so we bleed some more. But, they should be paid very, very close attention. If we have to bleed, if we can't lube, we have to pay attention to them and adjust them just enough, just flow enough so that we're gonna not freeze, we're going to maintain chlorine residual. Right, so it's another idea that we can possibly save a little bit of water. Okay. So there's a consideration. If we're going to think about meters, we have to consider things. We have to cost them appropriately, right? Vernon, BC, what happened? They said, okay, let's get meters. Everybody got scared and they didn't run any water in their houses. They didn't end up with enough money to pay their bills. So we have to make sure there's an appropriate rate for everybody if you're going to start to think that way. And it's not something you establish. It's something you establish as we move along. Right? A big one is political buy-in. Mayor, you mentioned it earlier, right? It's a matter of awareness. And if we hit, very often, I hate to say it, and I'm an old poop, but if we hit the young people in town, they're the ones that seem to want to, put a little more effort into saving our planet and everything else. So it's, public education goes on by all the time, all the time. And, right, resistance to change. I didn't need a meter before, there's no way I need a meter now. We have to think that, it's the way it is. Okay. That's it.
That's it.
I think that's it, Dave. So I'll open it up. Any questions?
So thank you very much for appearing, gentlemen. I will open the table for questions. Councillor Shabba.
Well, thank you very much. Anthony's not going to say anything to us, is that? No?
No, I'm just here to look pretty.
Okay, all right, good.
Well, Counselor, I messed up. I just kept gabbing and gabbing and gabbing. And it's usually Anthony looks after all the work we did, but yeah.
Okay, I just have a few questions here for you. Well, thank you very much for the report, and I tell you one thing, I've been to that plant, the water plant, anyway, it's pretty clean, and that to me, is an evidence, it shows very clearly that safety is number one, so thank you very much for the good work that you do. I have two questions on the water side and one question on the wastewater side. When you indicated that 1,100 liter per capita per day, which is water consumption, I mean, are you factoring, because we are made to understand that we're losing at least 50% of our flow. I mean, if you say 1,100 liter per capita per day, is that including what we're losing? I mean, to me, that would not really be the amount of water consumption, just the amount that you're pushing out from the plant, right?
Exactly. That's the amount pushing out for the plant. We got 8,900 and change people in town. So that's just the math on that. So you 100% Counselor, there's, the use that we know we're using, right? But that's the simple math on that. What comes out of the plant? The number of people in town comes up to 1,154.
Yeah, always curious because we get a water taste, depending on the time of the season. Now, I do realize that there are water intake locations. I'm not too sure, is it variable intake locations or just
It's fixed.
Permanent?
So our bell out there is fixed. It's down about 18 or 19 feet, depending on the level of gull. And so it's a fixed location. And that's one of the reasons, lad, that remember a bunch of years ago when we had our brown water, right? So when it would freeze over, the iron and manganese bacteria, they get a little bit hungry for air, so they go up and into the bell they go, right? As soon as that water froze over.
Yeah, well, thank you. And on the water side, you did indicated 2 or 3 bypasses of that's a switch, right?
On the sewage side.
Yeah, and partial filter pipe. I mean, can you say a few?
So the water, so it came in the front end of the plant where we did the initial screening and the initial cleansing, goes through the clarifiers, does all the settling, secondary settling, everything. The only thing we couldn't handle is not all of it could make it through the filters.
Oh, I see, okay. But usually they just bypass you at chlorine and you report to the ministry.
That's exactly what we do. Yeah, if we have to bypass a filter, then everything else. It's gonna be out there.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure.
Thank you. Councillor Kylie.
Yeah, Eric, I'm interested in the part you mentioned meters. I think that's a way off because first of all, we've got the infrastructure in the ground, which has to be replaced over the years. There's some very old infrastructure, so I think we're a long way from meters. I know when I was in North Bay, they put the meters in and that was gonna save the world. And ended up increasing bills by about 35%. And everybody was up in arms. So it's a tough issue. The amount of water that we're losing that doesn't go into our system is back in the ground is a big concern. We're making some headway, which is nice to see. So overall, good report, and we've got great water here.
Thank you. And yes, I agree with you. Meters, I just want to plant the seed. It's, there's, like I say, in Vernon, it was unsuccessful. North Bay, they found some of the same things, right? So it has to be so carefully considered. But like you said, council, there's so many things to look at first, right?
Councillor Owen?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the presentation, Eric. I don't think there was any big surprises here the council wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're, losing 50%. Can you imagine if Kirkland Lake Gold or Agnico Eagle was only getting 50% of the gold that they mined? I mean, they'd be out of business, right? And we're well aware of that. Council's well aware of that. And council and staff are currently looking at different ways of bringing that down. But of course, that problem didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be solved overnight. So, yeah, that's a big problem. The looping instead of dead ending, we're well aware of that as well, and the problems that creates. And again, it's a matter of money. I mean, ask anybody in the waterworks department, they'll tell you, oh yeah, there's, I think, 3 places where it should be looped and it's not, or maybe even more, I'm not sure now. But we don't have the money to do it right now. As for meters, I grew up with meters in Southern Ontario. And also, I want to note that my wife used to be the water billing clerk for the town of Kirkland Lake.
Yes.
And the current system we have now makes no sense. For instance, my wife and I live in the same house, there's just 2 of us. But if I decide to split 1 bedroom into 2, my water rates go up. That doesn't make sense. I've added a bedroom, so my water rates go up. Doesn't make sense. In your modern houses, where they tend to be open concept, you're getting a better deal on your water because it's open concept. You don't have rooms. You don't have a living room and a dining room and blah, blah, blah. And as much as I've heard complaints, whenever water meters that we mentioned, my wife took so many complaints about how our current system does not work. It does not make sense. And right now, I have no incentive to reduce my water usage.
That's right.
I have no incentive. But if I'm metered, and with my Scottish background, you can be guaranteed I'm cutting back on my water. So politically, it's a hard issue, but sometimes councils have to make hard issues. I think previously, the big problem was the cost of meters. It's a one-time huge cost. And that would be the only thing. If there's no funding to do that, at one point there was, now I don't believe there is, but I wouldn't rule out meters, and I think it's big to throw it out now because maybe in 10 years we'll have meters.
Yeah, I mean, when I've had times where, I'll go through town and I've seen people watering their driveways. The environmentalist that makes me cry, right? I've never seen a driveway grow. But anyways.
Anything further from council members? Councillor Shabbat?
To you, to Mayor, the commercial people, we do have meters.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's more about residential. Just, so no for everyone.
Thank you. I do appreciate you attending tonight, gentlemen. We do appreciate your yearly reports when we receive them, and we thank you for coming. I do think you're right. Education goes a long way and it's cheap. So I think we can start right there. So thank you very much. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
Item number 5, oh, sorry, yeah. The motion, I'll have the clerk read the motion.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that the delegation entitled Ontario Clean Water Agency Aqua 2023 highlights be received for informational purposes.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you. Item number 5, acceptance of minutes and recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley, be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meeting. Minutes of the regular meeting of council held February 6, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. 5.2.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Lad Chaba, be it resolved that council receive the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the Kirkland Lake Public Library Board held January 18th, 2024. Minutes of the Temiskaming Municipal Association held January 25th, 2024. Minutes of the Temiskaming Health and Board of Health dated held December sixth, 2023, and minutes of the Kirkland Police Services Board held November eighth, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6, reports of municipal officers and communications. 6.1, 2023 annual accessibility status report. Jennifer Montroy, municipal clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, members of council. The annual accessibility status report is a mechanism for council and the public to be brought aware of the town's progress in preventing and removing barriers as outlined in the town's multi-year accessibility plan. This is also the manner in which the town is able to identify that it's meeting the requirements under the AODA. After consultation with the senior management team, the 2023 report highlights the town's continued commitment to accessibility, specifically on the measures taken in the implementation of provincial requirements this past year. Some notable mentions are as follows: the installation of 2 barrier-free slider doors to access the arena from the lobby of the complex, arena washroom upgrades with the inclusion of push buttons at entrance doors at the complex, illumination, running man exit signage at the complex, paving and designated accessible parking space signage at the complex, reinstatement of concrete sidewalk on the southwest corner of the intersection that leads to St. Jerome School, repairs to existing audible crosswalks at the intersection of Duncan Avenue and Government Road East, improvements to timing and routes for winter sidewalk maintenance, gradual replacement of LED lighting at various internal and public town-owned facilities, standardized advertising for communication from the town, continued improvements to corporate forms of documents in accessible format, public-facing accessibility complaint feedback button on the town's website landing page. The town's multi-year accessibility plan was reviewed in 2023, and a new plan and corresponding policies will be presented to council in 2024. Accessibility concerns noted in 2023 were as follows: dangers associated with personal mobility devices, which are wheelchairs, e-bikes, mopeds, segways, on provincially and municipally maintained roadways, accessible parking in the downtown core at various locations, and placement of waste canisters, the large waste canisters, at the edge of the road and not on the sidewalk for persons with mobility issues. Worth noting is that administration is conducting a fulsome review of the town's current parking bylaw, and it's hopeful to bring forward some recommended changes in 2024. Once received by council, the annual report will be issued in attachment 2 of your package this evening, is posted on the town's website. And as always, members of the public are welcome to provide comments on this report and any accessibility matters in general in the town. This feedback can provide administration the ability to measure the town's continued commitment in providing barrier-free services and service delivery. That is the summary of my report, Madam Mayor. I'm available for questions if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Shaba?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. I'm very worried about the accessibility needs, particularly of this building. In spite of the fact that we have an elevator, and we now know that that elevator could be off and on, and so on repairs or whatnot. And I got a lot of calls when the elevator was down. People cannot access the city hall. To me, it's a great concern. I even sent a text message or message the CEO to see when the elevator will be ready. I guess it is ready now, but it may be worth looking at a plan B for future sake. I don't know, maybe consulting whatnot to look at to see what else we can do to have plan B, just in case if the elevator is down and people will not be restricted, people that need it, not be restricted to come into this building to use our services. So that is a concern. I mean, we just cannot rely on one single elevator, and we do that. The elevator is old. We really have to either do something about its lifespan, or maybe think about alternative ways for people to get into the building to access our services when the elevator is down.
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to all council and Councillor Shaba. So council has approved the repairs or remediation to the town hall elevator. The elevator was anticipated to be repaired in 2024. However, we were waiting on grants, and we were waiting on actual the RFP going through and the approval. At this stage, we were all advised that in 2023, that the elevator in December was going to be more difficult for it to be repaired until such time that the new elevator came into being. It's a supply and demand issue at this point. We can't go further than the supplier for the parts. We have in place non-barrier service delivery when the elevator is down. If people want to come for a RFP opening at town hall, we can have it on the main level or we can publicize it. Same thing with council meetings, and electronic participation is available. In terms of paying the bills, we have discussed this with our senior management team from now until May, when the new elevator is supposed to be the new elevator is supposed to come into the building. So as far as I know, after the budget season, to remove the amount of disruption of staff and the budget process, the new elevator will be going into the building in May. Until that time, we will have accessible alternatives for the public to be able to come and do business in town.
Counselor, oh, sorry,
So if I'm gonna
follow up?
yes, please. I think that, thank you very much for that, but that information should be thoroughly disseminated to people so that they know that there is a plan. They come where the elevator is not working, it's not functioning, then there should be this plan B, it should be right here and there and there. I mean, we have all a means of disseminating information to people that they know ahead of time, because I can tell you people that are calling me, I'm sure that they're not aware of what you're just telling me, what you can. What the plan B that is available to them when they do come here and that elevator is not working.
Okay.
Yes,
Through you, Madam
yes,
Mayor.
Madam Clerk.
To all of council, if you receive calls from residents that are concerned about accessing the whole building, please be sure that those residents are actually calling the town hall for that we're able to provide them with the alternative accessible service delivery needs. We do often, and I'll say 90%, when there's a meeting agenda that goes out to the public, I identify whether or not the elevator at town hall is working, and if it isn't, the alternative service delivery for that. In terms of paying the bills during office hours, we're open on the telephone. People can give us a call. We can let them know how we can provide them with the service if the elevator's down.
Councillor Owens.
Just a quick comment. I want to congratulate staff because staff do make the effort to reach out to either via radio, social media, whichever way to communicate that the elevator is down. If residents choose not to follow the town of Kirkland Lake on social media, it's a personal choice, but then you can't complain that you don't know that, oh, the elevator is not working because you choose not to follow social media or listen to the radio. So staff do reach out and communicate the information when it's needed.
Councillor Dugans.
To you, Madam Mayor, to council. Yeah, I recognize that it's an extra challenge, right, to communicate, and you do communicate consistently and well. But my concern is it's okay for the general public, but we have two members of the media, and there's a disadvantage when they can't access. Yes, you can participate electronically, but to question council, to question the mayor, when you can do it right away, or you have to wait because you can't get into the building. So that to me is a bigger issue, that the media should have equal access to council.
So I can speak to that as the individual that is charged with speaking with the media on behalf of the municipality. Both members of the media who are here this evening have 100% access with me through my public phone and email. So oftentimes the newsprint media emails me right away as they're watching through our live stream. So you don't have to worry. They definitely have 100% access, and all of our contact information is also public. So if the media was to have a need to contact any members of council or staff, all of that information is publicly and readily available to them. Just as a comment regarding members of the public reaching out to council members, if there is an issue, regardless of what it is, we are to direct members of the public to reach out to staff. We are not the experts at any of the items, and staff are paid to do that job. It's a hard lesson learned because we all got into this business to help members of the public, but that's not our job. Our job is to direct traffic to the experts. And I can personally say that the people that we have, our directors, our boots on the ground, and our administration are excellent at the job they do, and they are ready and willing to speak to members of the public. So that being said, Councillor Owen, did you have your hand up?
Well, I was gonna put it up. You must be psychic, Madam Mayor. First off, I want to congratulate Ms. Sackrider for those wonderful tours into the arena. And it's something that I had taken up with our CAO, because I watched a woman who has a disability and was very proud, and Bonnie knows who I'm talking about. She's a very proud lady. She doesn't want to ask for help. And she had a young boy who played hockey. And I used to watch her struggle with those doors, and she didn't want my help. And now it's just so wonderful. She can enter that arena with dignity. You know, she can go in that arena. And aside, my 4-year-old likes playing with them, but I won't tell you that, Ms. Sackrider, because that would not be appropriate. And you also heard my funny accessible washroom story, which is not appropriate for council. I have one question though, about the report. Gradual replacement of LED lighting at various internal and public town-owned facilities. I don't understand what that's.
Good. Through you, Madam Mayor, to all council. So there are some switches from the old, I'm not a lighting expert, but when I was speaking with our foreman, he had identified that there were some iridescent lighting in some of our, not iridescent, incandescent lighting at some of our facilities. So they're gradually being changed as we have the funds to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further from members of council?
Yes, Madam.
Councillor Shabba?
Yes, just want to add to what I've already stated. I mean, this is an aging community. We have a lot of older, middle-aged, young, whatnot. A lot of us still want to go to the bank and see a teller, whereas my daughter probably take a picture of her check and all the way it goes. So all I'm asking is that that information that you guys do have, I'm not saying that you don't have it, it should be disseminated in many formats, because I don't think that there are older people in there give a damn about social media. Thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. I'll have the reading of the motion, please.
Certainly, Madam Mayor. Moved by Councillor Casey Owen, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that report number 2024 Corp 10 entitled 2023 Annual Accessibility Status Report be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 6.2, Team Northern Throttle Summer Drag Races Airport Facility Use Request. Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. As members of council are aware, that Team Northern Throttle holds drag races at the airport. This has been going on now for several years. This year, the races are planned in the summer, the first being June 21st to 23rd, and the second is July 12th to the 14th. As in past years, council needs to approve a facilities use agreement, as this limits liability due to the type of activities taking place on our airport. The airport will be considered closed to the aviation community for the duration of these events. The facility use agreement is attached in your report for your review. I'm welcome to any questions.
Thank you. Before opening the table for comments and questions, I just want to note that I am very thankful that this will be the last year Team Northern Thunder Throttle will have to come to council to get this signed off on. They are the only user group that appeared before council. And though I appreciate the opportunity to thank the volunteers for the incredible contributions they make not only to tourism, but to the overall economy of Kirkland Lake, I am extra thankful that this will be changed next year so that they will no longer have to appear before council. Any questions or comments? from the table. Councillor Owen.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor, there was a time when, Team Northern Thunder and council had some misunderstandings a while back. And, we worked our way through them and resolved those issues. And as a councilor, I just want to personally thank those volunteers for all the work they do. It's not my thing. I'm not into squealing tires and noisy cars, but, it is a lot of people's things. And they do bring a lot of economic, development to the town when they hold these events. So once again, I just want to give them a big thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. I'll have the reading of the motion.
Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that report number 2024 CAO 003 entitled Team Northern Throttled Summer Drag Races Airport Facility Use Agreement be received for information, and that the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a facility use agreement with Team Northern Throttle for family events for the use of the Kirkland Lake Airport to host drag races from June 21st to June 23rd, 2024 inclusive, and July 12th to July 14th, 2024 inclusive. And finally, that an execution by law be brought forward for 3 readings on March 5th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 6.3, Supplemental Police Services Board Reform.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report is being presented to provide an update since the last report in October 2023. The Office of the Solicitor General and the OPP Municipal Policing Bureau have notified both the town and the Kirkland Lake Police Services Board that the Community Safety and Policing Act, which is known as the CSPA, and its regulations will be taking effect on April 1st, 2024. Administration confirmed that the Act and its regulations taking effect does not change the relationship between the town and the OPP. The OPP is still required to provide policing services to the town, and the town has an obligation to pay for services in the manner noted in the report. In terms of the transition from the board to the OPP Detachment Board, I would like to remind council that police services boards operate at arm's length of municipalities, similar to local library boards having their own governing legislation. The new board will be responsible for the consultation of the OPP's local action plan, to fill the vacancy of Secretary Services, performance of the detachment commander, including participation in the recruitment of detachment commanders, the call and appointment for 2 community volunteers to sit on the new board, to prepare budget estimates for each of the participating municipalities and presenting them, to establish its own governance and policies, to undertake mandatory training as per the Act, to publish information for the general public's consumption, including policies and bylaws, to obtain insurance coverage, and to annually report to each member municipality and First Nation forming part of the new detachment board. Administration notes that the appointed council representatives from the member municipalities and those provincially appointed members to the new detachment board will be guided by the Solicitor General's office in a transition to the new detachment board structure through a working group. Officers from member municipalities discussed the requirement for each respective council to establish the honorariums for the new board in accordance with the CSPA's future regulation, specifically who would receive an honorarium and how it would be divided based on representation and exemptions. As noted in the report, the consensus was to keep the current board's honorarium structure intact and bring forward the proposal of $8,500 annually for the entirety of the board as provided in detail in the report. This evening, administration seeks the collaborative approval of the annual honorarium of the board, as well as the direction for administration to include $1,750 towards the honorarium portion of the 2024 board secretarial budget at the high end. This evening, administration is also seeking the direction of council to include $10,000 in estimating the town's portion of the 2024 new detachment board budget. To supplement updates since the report was published, it should be noted that at their meeting last Friday, council for the township of Gauthier has confirmed the appointment of Dixit Patel as their council representative on the board, together with their joint support of the annual $8,500 honorarium for the new board. This evening, administration is also seeking the nomination and appointment of 2 members of council to sit on the new board for the remainder of this term of council, and as such participate in the working group leading up to the CSPA taking effect on April 1st. To note that the working group meetings are not subject to honorariums or voluntary until such time that a new board meets formally. In terms of process for nomination of the Kirkland Lake Council members on the new detachment board, the mayor will request if any members wish to nominate others or themselves Once all discussions are concluded, I will read the resolution at the direction of the chair for the vote. That concludes my report summary, Madam Chair. I'm available for questions from council if there are any.
Thank you. Before nominations, is there any comments or questions from council? Councillor Owen.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and I realize this is brought down by provincial legislation, but once again, the province is putting costs on the municipality that we did not have in the past. We had a system here that worked well. There was no need for us to change it. And now the province passed legislation saying we have to do this, and it's costing the ratepayers of Kirkland Lake more money. And I mean, we have no choice but to accept it, but I don't think the province fully understands the impact that this has on our council. Having said that, I hope the new system works well. I believe that the new system was put in place because previously there were two systems in place, one with contract policing and one where municipalities didn't have contract policing. It was very difficult to see that all municipalities were paying their fair share. I understand that, but it's unfortunate that we have to pay more. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? Have you noticed? I'll open the table for nominations. Does anybody want to be nominated themselves, or does anybody will nominate somebody else? Councillor Shava.
I'm gonna nominate, Councilor Ranger to be on that police services board.
Councillor Ranger.
I nominate myself to be on the.
Perfect. I will also nominate myself to be on that board. I feel that I do have experience on working groups to establish new boards. And it is important to have municipal leaders on that board as the changes come through. And I have been attending those meetings already for the last, since training occurred. Time means nothing. Yeah. So that is my resume for that board. Go ahead.
I currently sit on the board and I enjoy what I do there, and will nominate myself for consideration.
Okay.
I don't know, how many do we need?
Two. Okay, so it appear, any more nominations from the table? So it does appear that we have three individuals wanting to sit on two position board. Madam Clerk.
We can start with a vote for the first person that was nominated, as Councillor Janice Ranger.
Okay. All in favor to appoint Councillor Janice Ranger to the new police?
Yeah, it's called the Kirkland Lake Detachment Police Services Board.
All in, oh, sorry,
For
Councillor
clarity,
Dykens?
what is the process going to be? Like,
Yeah.
if you vote, like, so whoever gets, the two people who get the most votes, is that, can we do this by ballot? We have
No.
to do it publicly?
Yeah.
Yes. All votes are public.
Okay.
And
Councillor Owen?
there's two people being appointed or voted on, right?
Yeah, two positions.
So we have two votes as a council? Like,
Through all of council, there's three individuals, so there's Councillor Janice Ranger that was nominated, the mayor wished to nominate herself,
Yeah.
and Councillor Shaba wished to nominate himself. Correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to start in the order in which the nominations were received. We will call for the vote for that person to sit on the board. And if, I mean, there's only two spots, so.
right.
Council needs to be mindful of that when they're making their decision.
So,
You should, if I may, you should probably do a recorded vote or a roll call for them, for purposes of the meeting. Because after that, you'll have to go from the draw.
so if I vote for candidate 1, I can still vote on candidate 2 and candidate 3?
That's correct.
That's my question.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I'm old and confused.
You can vote, you have the right to vote at all three.
Okay, that's
Right,
just
but
what I
council
want.
needs to be mindful that it can
Yeah.
only vote in two persons to sit on the board.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, to the clerk, did you ask us to make it, recorded? Can I, then,
Yes, a member of council must ask for a recorded vote in order for it to be a recorded vote.
okay, I'd like to ask to you, Madam Mayor, to put the recorded vote.
For all three or just one?
For all.
Okay. Okay. I need a mover and a seconder for for the appointment of Councillor Janice Rager.
Casey Owens moves, seconder. Counselor Owen moves.
The question that Councillor Councillor Janice Ranger be appointed to the Kirkland Lake OPP Detachment Board effective April 1st, 2024 for the remainder of this term of council, and that Councillor Ranger be permitted to participate on a working group spearheaded by the Ministry of Solicitor General's office leading up to the inauguration of the Kirkland Lake Detachment Police Services Board on April 1st, 2024. Councillor Ranger.
Yay or nay?
Oh, yay. Councillor Shaba. Councillor Casey Owens.
Yeah.
Councillor Dolly Dykens.
Yay.
Councillor Rick Owen.
Yay.
Councillor Pat Kylie.
Yeah.
The Mayor.
Yay.
Carried. One moment, please. The same, I'm not going to reread the entirety, but this is for the appointment of Councillor Lad Shaba. Councillor Janice Ranger.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize, the mayor, sorry. Sorry, the appointment of the mayor. Sorry, I'll put this down because I'm gonna forget. To appoint Mayor White to the KLD PSB. Councillor Ranger.
You have to nominate, don't we have to?
Yeah, the seconder or no?
Oh, yes, you do need a first and second. Sorry, yes, thank you.
All first.
Okay. Seconder? Okay.
Okay, we've never done this one before, yeah.
Councillor Ranger.
Yeah.
Councillor Shaba. Councillor Casey Owens.
Yeah.
Councillor Dolly Dykens.
No.
Councillor Rick Owen.
Yay.
Councillor Pat Kylie.
Yeah.
Mayor White.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 yea, 2 nay. This is for Councillor Shaba. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Second. For the appointment of Councillor Shaba to the KLV PSB and working group. Councillor Janice Ranger.
Nay.
Councillor Lad Shaba.
Yeah.
Councillor Casey Owens.
Okay.
Councillor Dolly Dykens. Councillor Rick Owen.
Nay.
Councillor Pat Kylie.
Yeah.
Mayor Stacy White.
Nay.
It is defeated. Okay. So we're ready for another read the motion. Yeah, great.
So at this time, I'll have the clerk read the entire motion.
Sorry, I'm just filling in the blanks. Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024 Corp 11 entitled Supplemental Police Services Board Reform be received. And that Councillor Janice Ranger and Mayor Stacy White be appointed to the Kirkland Lake OPP Detachment Police Services Board, KLD PSB, effective April 1st, 2024 for the remainder of this term of council, November 14th, 2026. and that Councillor Janice Ranger and Mayor Stacy White be permitted to participate on a working group spearheaded by the Ministry of Solicitor General's Office leading up to the inauguration of the KLDPSB on April 1st, 2024. And that council hereby approve to jointly support the remuneration of new KLDPSB membership in the sum of $8,500 annually for the remainder of this term of council as presented. And that council hereby direct the sum of $1,750 be budgeted in 2024 for the town of Kirkland Lake's estimated share of council remuneration of the KLDPSB. And finally, that council hereby direct that the sum of $10,000 be budgeted for in 2024 for the town of Kirkland Lake's estimated share of operating and capital costs associated with the KLDPSB.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. At this time, I will ask Acting Mayor Vlad Shaba to take the chair for the notices of motion.
It's up to you if you want me to read the motion before you start the conversation or not.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you can do that when you're ready.
Okay, good afternoon. We're in item number 7. Mayor Stacy White, municipal equipment operator course.
So I'm gonna read the motion.
Yes, please.
Okay. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Whereas municipal public works departments from across the province of Ontario provide invaluable services to our communities, ensuring the health and safety of all residents. And whereas if it was not for our municipal public works employees from across the province of Ontario maintaining our public road systems, our communities would not be able to function as emergency personnel could not respond to calls, school buses could not get our children to school, residents would not be able to get to work, school, or appointments, and many more basic functions would not be able to happen. And whereas municipal public works departments are already feeling the impacts of a labor shortage, which will only be exacerbated over the next 3 to 5 years, which will cause levels of service municipalities are able to provide to ensure the health and safety of our residents to decrease. And whereas there is currently no provincial-wide course that properly trains potential municipal public works employees specifically relating to municipal equipment, therefore be it resolved that the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake supports the work of the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors to develop a municipal equipment operators course to address this issue. And that the town call upon the province of Ontario's Ministry of Labor, Training, Immigration and Skilled Trades to fully fund the municipal equipment operating course in 2024 through the Skill Development Fund. And finally, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Honorable Minister of Labor, Training, Immigration and Skilled Trades, to Mr. Nate Cochran, Member of Provincial Parliament, the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, which is FNOM, and the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors, which is AORS, and all municipalities within the district of Timmins. Working there.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor, can you speak to the motion?
Thank you, Acting
Please.
Mayor. Like most of the motions coming this evening, this was received through Madam Clerk in correspondence that we often receive, and all members of council get the same support motions. This specific one is a support motion from the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors in regards to the impact of the current labor shortage of qualified heavy equipment operators and the lack of provincial-wide courses which properly train potential municipal workers, specifically relating to municipal heavy equipment. Former president of Northern College, Dr. Audrey Penner, came to us in the past speaking about these micro courses to combat the need of specialized training that could be offered at local college level. I myself work in a career that was born out of the need for a specific subset of skills from the nursing profession. And I understand how vital offering niche training can be to ensure the provision of required care, in this case, specific to duties relating to municipal public works. I hope my fellow council members can see the value in supporting the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors in their endeavor to continue to provide qualified and well-trained operators to municipalities.
Thank you. Councillor Casey Owens?
No,
You second the motion, eh?
yeah, but Madam Mayor covered it pretty well, so that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And I open the Laura, anybody want to comment on this motion? Okay,
Call for the vote.
call for the vote, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? None. Motion carried. Okay, item number 7.2. This is the white public-private partnership senior government policy changes. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councilor Rick Owen. Do you want to read that too, or?
I will.
Okay.
Waiting for Councillor Dykens to leave the chair.
Oh,
Chair declared conflict. That's fine. We're good.
okay.
It's fine. The first, I'll break them down in A and B motions. The first one, moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, whereas there is a growing concern over the inadequate funding of post-secondary education by the Ontario government, which has placed additional financial pressures on publicly funded colleges, undermined their sustainability, and made it more difficult for colleges to respond to the need of local employees. And whereas Northern College has developed an important public-private college partnership with Pures College that contributes $30 million annually in revenue to Northern College, equal to 1/3 of Northern College's budget. And whereas students enrolled in programs offered through the Pures public-private partnership campuses are recognized as students of a publicly funded college and are held to the same high standards of academic rigor, are provided with comparable wraparound support services to those offered at Northern College and receive a Northern College credential. And whereas the elimination of postgraduate work permits by the federal government for students graduating from programs offered through the Pures public-private partnership campus would result in an immediate suspension of revenue to Northern College, adversely affect the sustainability of the college, and undermine the ability to support local employers. And whereas the Ontario government has recently called together a group of experts who have released recommendations in Blue Ribbon Panel report that are designed to ensure the long-term sustainability of the post-secondary education sector in Ontario. Therefore, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake urges the Ontario government to immediately implement the Blue Ribbon Panel recommendations and actively work with the federal government to restore the eligibility of public-private partner colleges to grant students who would successfully complete their program of study a postgraduate work permit. And finally, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Honourable Premier of Ontario, the Member of Provincial Parliament for Timiskaming and Cochrane, the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, which is FNOM, and all municipalities within the district of Timiskaming. Resolution B, it was also moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, whereas the federal government has recently announced policy changes that will negatively affect publicly funded colleges, particularly those in small northern and rural regions of Ontario, by altering the framework through which international students are admitted and managed. And whereas Northern College has developed an important public-private college partnership with Pures College that contributes $30 million annually in revenue to Northern College, equal to 1/3 of Northern College budget. And whereas students enrolled in the program offered through Pures public-private partnership campuses are recognized as students of a publicly funded college and are held to the same high standards of academic rigor, are provided with comparable wraparound support services to those offered at Northern College and receive a Northern College credential. And whereas the elimination of postgraduate work permits for students graduating from programs offered through the Pures public-private partnership campus would result in an immediate suspension of revenue to Northern College, adversely affect the sustainability of the college, and undermine the ability to support local employers. And whereas the federal government's policy changes have been made abruptly without any consultation with post-secondary institutions and without clearly understanding of the severe financial hardship to smaller public colleges, primarily outside of the GTA. Therefore, be it resolved that Council of the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake urge the federal government to reconsider its recent policy changes and specifically exempt public-private partner institutions from being excluded in offering students who successfully complete their program of study a postgraduate work permit. And finally, that a copy of this motion be circulated to the Honourable Prime Minister of Canada, the Honourable Minister of Employment, Workforce Development and Official Languages, the Member of Parliament for Timmins James Bay, the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, FNOM, and all municipalities within the district of Timiskaming.
All right.
Done.
So we keep this short next time, so we don't kill our parts. Mayor, is one, can you speak the motion, please?
Absolutely, thank you, Acting Mayor. On January 26th, I met with CAOs and presidents of several Northern Ontario colleges, other mayors and municipal CAOs, including Cambrian College, Canada College, and of course, Northern College, to discuss the recent IRCC announcements regarding policy changes around immigration and specifically student immigration. The two motions that you just heard were drafted to address these issues specifically by those who are leaders and experts within the field of post-secondary education. I had a large write-up, but Madam Clerk took care of that, so I'm going to skip all that. The second motion, in the 5+ years I've sat on council, we don't often directly lobby the federal government. However, in this case, I think supporting a motion directed at the federal government is vital to keep our local college and other small colleges across the province operating with the public-private partnership and revenue stream. These same motions are being brought forth to all the municipalities that were involved in the meeting at the end of January, and I hope the members at this table recognize the importance that our own Northern College plays within our community, our economy, and how having a local college adds to the quality of life of our people. And I hope you can all support these motions as written.
Okay, Councillor Rico, anything to add?
To you, Acting Mayor, I did receive a call, from a professor at Northern College who is very concerned about the situation. Not just his job, but the fact that we potentially could lose the campus in Kirkland Lake, which would be a concern for all of us. I think, once again, this is a case where governments and big centers don't realize what the picture is in small communities. I graduated from Sheridan College. Their Brampton campus, which isn't even their main campus, is huge, right? So if they lose some students, it's not that big a deal. They've got thousands of students right in their own backyard. We don't have that luxury here. And for that reason, I think it's very important that we support these motions. It's not the students that are the problem. Students didn't create the housing problem. The students didn't put the freeze on funding or freeze on tuition fees. Those are government decisions. So I think the government needs to ante up and leave the college system alone.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lynch.
I want to make it clear that Purez is a private.
I said it wrong.
I know. Is a private institution, and the students who attend that school never touch a Northern College or any other private funded campus. They are students who choose or wish to study in large urban centers, and post-secondary institutions can accommodate that in this partnership. I chose not to exempt myself because this is a letter of request going forward, and maybe I should have, but I'm going to stay put for this. I just wanted to add some clarification as to it does have a ripple effect, long stream. You know, the federal government makes those decisions, not at the provincial level, but it certainly does affect, especially us teeny tinies. So I just wanted to make sure that those at the table understood. You might not see it directly impacted by the population numbers being in our northern communities, because these students aren't in the north, they're in southern Ontario. But it's all colleges and universities that have created these partnerships, and so they'll all be affected. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Just have a few things to add to this. I'm in support of this motion. I can recall, I recall that when when Perez was coming on board, I was the union local president that fought very vigorously against Perez. The reason being that some of those students will not live in our community. And then number two, we're not gonna have faculty members teach the students. So we did not see any advantage at that time for that to happen. And I do understand why the college need to go there at the time because of the funding shortfall. You can increase the tuition on one hand, right? And of course, the government is not going to fund you as a college. So where do you go? So instead of going to layoffs, shutting down campuses and whatnot, we know Kirkland Lake campus, we're very vulnerable to all of these changes. So the college had to do what they had to do to survive. But if you recall, when Dr. Penner came here, and of course, Dr. Penner and I, we who were friends and adversary at different stage of our professional relationship. One of the things that I implore the college to do was to have residence so that we can accommodate all those students here. And, you know, now we see that boil over, whereby people don't have a place to live. We've got a lot of students, as a matter of fact, your college will return about 500 applications because they have no place to put them. So I think they have to reconfigure this. So I'm willing to help the college, and I hope that the college will have a community by being very frank and tell us the status of our college because we love our campus. We want that campus to be there for my grandchildren, their children, and forever and ever. So I think it's a good way to help the college. Just hope that when it comes time for us to ask tough questions about staffing and whatnot, because we care about the college, not that we're being nosy, but we care about the college. We want to know what's going on. We support you and you support us. So anyways, having said that, I'm going to, oh, somebody, yeah, sure.
Just a supplement on that.
Yeah.
Just before all this came down, Northern College announced that it had bought an apartment building in Kirkland Lake, which I found very encouraging because they were making a major investment in our community. They were saying to me as a resident and as a town councillor, we're here to stay. Stop worrying. You know, we're buying a building, and then all this happened.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe that Northern College is very committed to Kirkland Lake. I just wanted to add that they did buy a building.
Yeah, I believe that too, and I commend them for doing that. I mean, even though it's a day late, but all the campuses of Northern College, they have residents except us here. I mean, I've been to many of them. So Ellery, Timmins and whatnot. But anyways, I think, yeah, good point, it's good. They have a resident, that's to me, a bonus. Yes,
The discussion on residency problems being discussed.
yeah, I know, I'm just,
I understand,
Oh,
but
okay.
you have to stay on topic.
keep me on topic, Mr. Owen.
My apologies to council for that misstep, but I thought housing was part of the issue with the funding
Well,
and all
it's
that.
not. Okay, we call the motion anyways. All in favor of the motion?
We'll start with the first motion.
The first motion, okay. Motion A, yes. That's what I'm gonna ask you, because it's two
Yes.
different motions. Okay. The first motion, please. All in favor, first motion? You still remember what it is? Okay. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion is carried. Okay, the second motion,
Is the federal one?
the federal one,
Yes.
yeah, right, that's this one, okay. All in favor of this motion? Anyone opposed? None, the motion is carried.
Yes.
Okay, we have one more item 7.3, so we wait for Councillor Dyke to come in.
Yeah. Should put it here.
Maybe too easy to throw me out there.
Little trap doors underneath everybody's seat.
Okay.
All right. 7.3, Mayor Stacy White, cemetery transfer / abandonment, administration and management. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councilor Casey Owens.
The motion reads, be it resolved that council for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake support the resolution from the township of Clearview regarding cemetery transfer, abandonment, administration and management support as attached.
That's good. Yeah, Mayor Stacy White, carry on.
Thank you, Acting
What is the
Mayor.
motion?
Though this motion was born out of, the issue of abandoned cemeteries in other municipalities, what is being asked in the motion is actually relevant to all municipalities across Ontario. I did confirm this with staff, through the CAO. The provision of annual funding to assist with the maintenance of inactive and active cemeteries, providing free training opportunities for municipalities regarding cemetery administration, and the investigation and support to design universal cemetery software for use of municipal cemetery operators that can be offered at an affordable cost would directly benefit the community of Kirkland Lake. This is merely a support motion brought forth by Clearview Township, and I'm asking the whole of council to support it as it was circulated.
Okay, the seconder, please.
Once again, the mayor has done a good job.
Okay. Anyone else want to address this motion? No? Okay. All right, call the vote. All in favor of this motion? Vote and oppose? None, motion is carried. Okay, item number 7.4, Mayor Stacy White, Social and Economic Prosperity Review. Recommendation moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councilor Patrick Kiley.
The motion as presented, be it resolved, the council for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake support the resolution from the township of Eventuel regarding social and economic prosperity review as attached.
Okay, Mayor Stacy White, can you speak to the motion?
Thank you, Acting Mayor Shaba. This is another support motion coming out of the township of Venturel, our neighbors just down the highway. It requests the province to commit to undertaking with AMO a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote the stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. As stated within the motion, nearly a third of municipal spending in Ontario is for services in the area of provincial responsibility, and expenditures are outpacing provincial contributions to municipalities. Currently, inflation, rising interest rates, and provincial policy decisions are sharply constraining municipal fiscal capacity. If this review was to occur, I believe it would give concrete data to what we already know. The downloading from the province is severely affecting municipal abilities to provide their own core non-discretionary services. And perhaps then the province will make the necessary policy or funding changes to truly support municipalities in meaningful ways.
Okay. Councilor Kiley.
All the municipalities in the north, are financially struggling due to provincial downloads. We need the province to support, an economic review in order to meet these challenges.
Okay. Anyone else want to speak to this? Very quickly, I was really hoping that, during Roma conference that you guys attended, that maybe the ministers will have upload some stuff, you know, wishful thinking, they're uploading DVP in Toronto, maybe they should give us comments and upload something, you know, I don't know, but it is what it is. Okay, I'll call the motion. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? None, motion is carried. Okay.
7.5.
7.5, Mayor Stacy White, 1/3 funding grant programs. Read resolution, 1/3 funding grant programs. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councilor Pat Kiley.
Recommendation as presented, be it resolved, the council for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake support the resolution from the municipality of Tweed regarding 1/3 funding grant programs as attached.
Okay, Mayor Stacy White.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Shaba. Again, this is merely a support motion from the municipality of Tweed. As per the motion in the past, federal and provincial governments contributed to municipal projects through equal partnerships to fund projects that would otherwise be out of reach of smaller municipalities. Though this motion was born out of the need of one municipality, it rings true for many across the province, and supporting this motion and circulating our support may assist higher levels of government when they look at implementing new funding streams. After all three levels of government share the responsibility for providing for and are supposed to work together for the good of all of our people.
Thank you very much. Councilor Patel.
Through you, your worship, it's incumbent upon the federal and provincial government to assist municipalities to adequately plan and execute projects to protect aging infrastructure.
Okay, all right, got the question. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? None, motion is carried. All right, that concludes mine.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Oh, God.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Acting Mayor Saba. I do appreciate that. I realized it was a long section. Item number 8, introduction, reading, and consideration of bylaws. There are none this evening. Questions from council to staff. There were none put in prior to council. Item number 10, notices of motion. Councillor Owens.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 2 this evening, so they stem from the aqua report we got earlier. So my first one will be to investigate the installation of water meters in all new builds within the town of Kirk Lane moving forward. And then my second one, again from the aqua, is to bring forward a bylaw to regulate and educate residents on, this might sound weird, but on how and when to properly water your lawn. Which, yeah. That's it.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. Item number 11, councilors report. Anything from council?
Oh, are we supposed to tell them the? Huh, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna report on the police services board. Probably our last one. The way it's constituted, as you know from early on, is going on to a new format. Well, 2 of us, we felt we'll be staying on till the end of this, until the new one is constituted, and I believe the provision nominees will be staying on too, but I think the local guy will not be, correct me if I'm wrong. So the only thing I want to share the statistics that were provided to us. Is that something that's open? That we got from them?
If you want to.
Yeah, okay. So, the reason being that this is really very impressive. People. Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, I'm just gonna give a summary. I like the way the OPP present everything. They have three broad categories, and then they give you what's actually happening. So I'm not going to break through those categories, but all I can say is that from their year to date, which is December, and what they've done is the summary will be for violent crime in 2022, 246, 2023 was 298, an increase of 21.1%. Property crime, again, it has gone down. For year 2022, 446 from 420, gone down by 5.8%. Drug crime, we see gone quite a bit, gone up by 16.7% from year 2022 to 2023. Oh, I do have one category, my apology, which is the clearance rate.
Sorry, Councillor Shava?
Yeah.
Sorry. Proceed. We were just having a little bit of background noise. Proceed.
Oh, okay. So clearance rate itself has was 2022, 56.6%, and 2023 is 56.8%, which is a slight increase of 0.3%. So overall, I think the detachment, they're doing a good job. Even though it may look as if we have a lot of criminal activities going on in our community. In fact, the reverse is true. Things are going now, and my understanding is that they have a lot of people in the detachment coming in to help our community. So I feel we're safe. We're a safe community. We're always going to be. We remain very Secretary, anything to add? Oh, you weren't there, sorry.
Wasn't that?
Oh, sorry, okay, that's it for that, KL Police Services Board. The other one that I'd like to share with you is, I'm very happy that, the CEO was on top of it. That was the, numbers that came out, during our KPI thing regarding the snow removal. Because I was, mind my own business watching a Super Bowl at the Legion, people just came all of a sudden, they were very surprised about that numbers. I'm glad that something went out very quickly to correct that because we were very alarmed about that. So, I mean, my question, if you can provide an answer, is maybe we should tell people what we're doing to make sure something like that is not going to happen in the future. Because, I mean, a lot of the people outside did raise that. We didn't see it here. We're very surprised. We missed it. But a lot of people did see it. So I just want to make sure that I know you guys are making efforts to make sure that never happens again. But I think we should really assure the public that, well, we're doing the best we can do to make sure it never happens again. But, you know, mistakes can happen, you know, what it is, what it is. But it really very much created a lot of comfortability among people who are telling me they move into autonomy. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for my report. Yeah.
Anything further from members of council? For my portion, this year I will be quite a lot quicker than reporting on every little thing the office of the mayor does. I feel like reporting last year on every little thing that the mayor did sets out a good precedence that members of the public and members at this table understand the responsibilities and duties that a mayor can have, because each mayor will do what they can and how they see fit. This year, the Office of the Mayor continues to work on the community building. I've reached out to the Chamber of Commerce to seek executive permission to include a State of the Community address at their yearly Best in Business Gala. This activity should strengthen the relationship between local businesses and the municipality. I reached out to local businesses to invite them to celebrate Pharmacy Appreciation Month in March, and Economic Development Officer Dan Labrador and myself will be meeting with them on March 5th to show our appreciation, and members of the council are welcome to attend as well. The executive of the multicultural group has received a request for members to receive heritage proclamations in 2024 as we move through the year, acknowledging the nearly 60 different ethnic and cultural backgrounds of our community members. I hope by the end of 2024, the majority of people who live and work in Kirkland Lake will feel seen, recognized, and appreciated. Thank you. I'll have the reading of the motion.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be it resolved that the verbal updates for members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12, additional information. The proclamations. I, Stacy White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, by the virtue of the power vested in me as Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim, oh, I jumped ahead, the month of March as Hellenic Heritage Month. That is for members of the public that are of Greek descent. I will jump back to what's actually supposed to be spoken of. It's actually World Thinking Day. Whereas first celebrated in 1926, World Thinking Day has united Girl Guides and Girl Scouts around the world for a day of international friendship. And whereas Girl Guides of Canada, Guides to Canada, has been a place that sparks the imagination of girls to take their place in the world and take action on what matters to them since 1910. And whereas youth members in the town of Kirkland Lake and beyond benefit from the opportunity to speak out on issues that affect girls and young women, celebrate the funding of Girl Guides, and be connected to the 8.8 million members in 153 countries who are part of the guiding movement. And whereas this year, members will complete the 3-year challenge to explore what they can do to become more environmentally conscious leaders. They will explore the crucial global issues of environmental sustainability, gender equality, peace, and poverty through the theme of Our World, Our Thriving Future. Now, therefore, I, Stacey White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as World Thinking Day. I do apologize for the confusion. Item number 12, no, we have a motion to accept that.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be resolved that council sanction the proclamation for World Thinking Day, February 22nd, 2024 in the town of Kirkland.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12.2, Proclamation Black History Month. I, Stacey White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, by virtue of the power vested in me as the Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2024 as Black History Month.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owens. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Black History Month, February 2024 in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Now, item number 12.3, Proclamation Irish Heritage Month. I, Stacey White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, by virtue of the power vested in me as the Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Irish Heritage Month. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Irish Heritage Month, March 2024 in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12.4, Proclamation Hellenic Heritage Month, March 2024. I, Stacey White, as Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, by virtue of the power vested in me as Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Hellenic Heritage Month.
Moved by Councillor Lon Chaba, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Hellenic Heritage Month, March 2024 in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. We will now take a 10-minute recess before moving into closed. We are now ready to move in camera.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Lon Chaba. Be it resolved that council adjourn in camera pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended at 6:38 p.m. To discuss proposed or pending acquisitions or dispositions of land by the municipality or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, advice on the subject to client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose for the following reasons. Item 13.1, request to purchase 3 McKelvey Avenue, 7 and 9 Main Street, 11 and 15 Comfort Avenue, and 13, 7 and 72 Balsam Avenue. Item 13.2, request to purchase part of mining claim L2679 parcel 11320 CST Pollock Street, and item 13.3, supplemental IAFF collective bargaining direction.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. We will now move back into, we will now reconvene open session.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be resolved that council reconvene in open session at 7:37 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Any items of pecuniary interest rising from matters in closed session? None noted. Items number 14, matters from closed session. 14.1, request to purchase 8 municipal lots.
Need to move her in a second.
Councillor Dyken moves, please. Councillor Owen seconds. Sorry.
Owen?
Owen.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Is that like when she looks?
Sorry. Moved by Councillor Dolly Dykens, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024 DEV 4 entitled request to purchase 8 municipal lots be received. The council accept the offer to purchase and approve the disposition of the municipal designated surplus land to Property Rehab Inc. as follows. North Part Lot 141 of Plan M105T, Part 1 of RP, TER 365, Parcel 9711, CST 3 McKelvey Avenue for the sum of $1,809. Lot 275 of Plan M98T, Parcel 6408, CST 7 Main Street for the sum of $5,910. lot 276 of Plan M918, parcel 12400 CST 9 Main Street for the sum of $5,910. Lot 734 of Plan M118T, parcel 11485 CST 11 Comfort Street for the sum of $6,539. Lot 736 of Plan M118T, parcel 5652 CST 15 Comfort Street for the sum of $6,830. Part lots 49 and 50 of M120T, Park Lane, parts 13 and 14 are registered Plan 54R 544-670 Balsam Avenue for the sum of $10,026. Lot 48 and part lot 47 and 49 of Plan M120, Park Lane, parts 15 and 18 registered Plan 54R 544-672 Balsam Avenue for the sum of $9,914. And that council hereby declares surplus and approve the sale of lot 43 of Plan M120T, parcel 8349 CST 13 Balsam Avenue to Property Rehab Inc. for the sum of $5,780. And that council authorized the mayor municipal clerk to execute all offers of purchase, to purchase and all appropriate sale documents as may be required. And finally, the council authorized the bylaw of the sale of the properties be given 3 readings at an upcoming meeting.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 14.2, request to purchase part of mining claim L2679 Holly Street. May I have a mover? Janice Ranger. May I have a seconder? Councillor Dykens.
Moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be it resolved that report number 2024 DEV 5 entitled request to purchase part of mining claim L2679 Fall Street be received, and that council declare part mining claim L2679 part parcel 11320 CST as surplus land, and that council approve the sale of land for park mining claim L2679 part parcel 11320 CST to JY Moto Electric for the sum of $25,000. And that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the offer to purchase and all appropriate sale documents as may be required. And finally, the council authorizes the bylaw of the sale of property be given 3 readings at an upcoming meeting.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 15, confirmation bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dykens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and so the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2410 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held Tuesday, February 20th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 16, adjournment.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Lod Shaba. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be now adjourned at 7:41 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Have a good evening, everyone.